Well, hello again, guys, from a blustery Whitley Park. Now, the last time I spoke to you was from a sodden Montenegro. Yeah, back on Tyneside. If the rain doesn't get you, the wind will. And I didn't really plan to do a new video here today. I had thought I would just leave the dispatch from the Balkans as the preview. Heading into Wolves, I'd boxed it all off. Yoane Whissa was the signing of the summer. He was going to hit the ground running against Wolves tomorrow, and Newcastle's season was going to take off. It was the start of the 25-26 campaign. That was my declaration in that video. Well, today, having spoken to Eddie Howe inside there, it feels as if the brakes are on to a degree, given the news, the big breaking news that Yoane Whissa is out of tomorrow's game against Wolves. That is why I had to do this video as an emergency update to bring you that, what it means for now, what it means going forward, what my latest information is on that injury, but also as well, Jacob Ramsey and the sad, brutal irony really that I spent the previous video talking about Ramsey being such a good signing, and I rode back a little against the accusations of him having fitness issues, given he did play nearly 40 games for Aston Villa last year. Well, Ramsey is going to miss the next 7 for Newcastle. The ankle injury he picked up down at Leeds had swelled up. He was forced off at half time after a very good opening 45 minutes. I thought that was super encouraging, his performance in that game. And at the time, post-match, it didn't seem as if it was a big issue. He was taken off almost as a precaution, it seemed. Then again, during the week, there was word that Ramsey was okay. Not so. He's still suffering, Eddie Howe's words, from the ankle, and he's going to be out until at least after the next international break. That is a minimum of 7 matches, if not more. Now, the absence of Ramsey, that can be absorbed by the fact that Joe Linton has trained this week. He should be okay for tomorrow. Bruno Guimaraes, he's played at altitude this week with Brazil. Eddie Howe said they're going to talk to him to see how he feels and if he's ready to play. I think that conversation will go along the lines of, are you okay, Bruno? Yes, okay, you're starting. Sandro Tonali had a good international break. He too will be there. So the absence of Ramsey can be absorbed to a degree, but it's still a blow in that he would have been the first substitute off the bench, and he had shown that early promise, especially going through such a busy period. This is what Jacob Ramsey was brought in for. Yes, massive blow. But the even bigger one is Yoane Whissa. Now, Yoane Whissa arrived back from international duty yesterday morning, reported to the training ground there for the first time. He came back with a knee complaint. He was forced off about 16 minutes to go. He went for a scan immediately yesterday. He was seen by the medical staff, but the word coming out of that was that he was okay, that he should be able to train today. And I put this in my Newcastle Confidential column yesterday. Not so, says Eddie Howe today. And that, because the player is still feeling the effects of that injury, he won't play tomorrow. Does he have a time frame? And this was where the language got a little bit worrying. Is there a time frame on the injury? No, he's not. He's going to go away for some more tests and maybe see a specialist. The language around that would be a huge concern, because that leaves it open-ended. A knee injury can be anything from 1 or 2 days rested as a precaution to 8 or 9 months. So the next update on Wissa, in terms of his availability for Barcelona, is going to be huge, or even beyond that. Now, a little insert here. Again, this is my information, and this talks to what I was told yesterday, and again, what I've tried to check out this morning, is that it's not a serious knee injury, that he still does stand a chance of playing against Barcelona. But before I would commit to that with any degree of confidence, let's see what these test results and what a specialist says, because we've been here before with Sven Botman, where a player might feel and want one thing, and in actual fact it's something entirely different. So we don't know as we stand here. Yes, I'm getting encouraging positive news, noises that he might be okay for Barcelona, but that might be the player just wanting to be that. Of course he wants that to be the case. Let's see what comes of it. But for now, the loss of Ramsey and the loss of Whissa, 2 of the 6 signings, is a huge blow and does cast, what sort of clouds have we got there? There's a dark cloud there somewhere. It does cast a dark cloud over this season reboot, as this weekend felt. Out of the 6 signings now, 2 of them are out. Aaron Ramsdale's a goalkeeper who won't play. Malik Chow probably won't get in at centre-half. I think Anthony Elanga, who's already lost his place in the team in the last match to Jacob Murphy. And Nick Woltemade, who was going to have to start tomorrow. I don't want that to sound negative. It's just go back to my previous video. I was super positive about those signings and the new strength in depth. This isn't me being negative, guys. I'm just telling you the truth. One of the first replies to the tweet I put out about Whissa and Ramsey, you know, it's the old Grim Reaper gif. What do you want me to tell you? All's wonderful. Ramsey will be back tomorrow, and Whissa, it's all just a ruse. He's going to start at number 9. Well, no, that is the reality of where they're at now. And I think it's a huge blow. And we were talking amongst ourselves afterwards that we walked into that press conference and there was a feeling of a line being drawn under everything that had gone before, Newcastle going forward from this point. At the end of it, we spoke and we were like, goodness, just welcome back to Newcastle United, to the summer they had, to naively think all of that noise and disruption and everything would be left behind, and we come out of this writing stories about the number 9, the new number 9, being struck down with a knee injury. Yeah, it's not good. Eddie, how did Eddie seem? You know, he seemed okay. Now that would tell me that Wissa's injury isn't perhaps too serious, but nonetheless, I didn't think he wanted to be sat there today talking about injuries the way he was. But on the flip side of that, as the wind takes hold of my quiff, I'll leave this in. Right on cue, there he is. My quiff collapses, and my friend on the lawnmower. I was hidden, you see. I was hidden behind the big post. He'd probably been sat in his hut there having a sandwich and a cup of tea. And then he's either heard me speak or realised I'm there and thought, yeah, time for the cameo. Can he play centre forward? But no, on the flip side of all of this, Wissa is out, but Nick Woltemade will come in now for his debut. And the noises I've had on Woltemade this week have been positive. Eddie Howe spoke really warmly about him inside. Now, I watched the game Germany against Northern Ireland on Sunday night, as I know a lot of you did, and Woltemade didn't play well. He had 60 minutes on the pitch. He got an assist that was more of a tackle, really. But you know, fair play. We're not going to take that away from him. It was a very good tackle. But on the whole, I looked at him and thought he might need a little bit of work, and it would be wise or wiser if Wissa could come in and carry the load in the short term. They can't do that now. Woltemade has got to start. And why I say I was encouraged by what I've heard, it sounds like he's got a little bit of character about him. It sounds like he's got something about him quite quirky. And while I look at Sesko down at Manchester United, it looks like, I've used this phrase before, like he wants the ground to swallow him whole. Doesn't seem to have that charisma. Woltemade does. And he's going to need that tomorrow when he walks out at St James's Park for his full debut, as in effect Newcastle's number 9, even though he's got a different number, 27 on his back. He's going to have to carry that weight, that expectation, that excitement. And there will be a lot of excitement at seeing Nick Woltemade for the first time tomorrow. And it's on him to wear that and to wear it well and to seize that responsibility and to relish the challenge and go out there and take his team to victory. This is a must win. It's not must win, but you know, when us journalists use phrases like that, you know where we're coming from. On the back of 7 points left behind in August, they've got to start putting those points on the board that performances have deserved and that they need to reclaim the table now. They were very lucky not to spend the international break in the bottom 3. That's not a reflection of performances. They've actually played okay. They played well, certainly in the first 2 matches. But now they need goals, and they need a goal scorer to make sure those building blocks and everything behind that doesn't go entirely to waste like it did in those opening games to a degree, even though they took 2 points. But those 2 points at Leeds and Aston Villa should have been 6 points, 2-0 draws. If they had a goal scorer on the pitch, they would have won those matches. We thought that was going to be Whissa. It's not. It's got to be Woltemade now. And with him there, and there is a charisma and there is a cult hero. That's a phrase someone's just used with me. He's got that cult hero feel about him, and they've detected that on the inside this week. 6'6", looks like the giant version of Rudi Völler with the moustache and the curly hair. And I love Rudi Völler. Let you in a little secret. I've got a West Germany. No, it wasn't Germany by that point. It was still West Germany. A West Germany 1990 shirt with Völler on the back. It's okay. It's been 35 years. We can admit that now. But Woltemade's got to be that player. And just the noises I've heard this week, I think he might just be, and I'm super excited to see him tomorrow. So that, on the back of negative news this morning, is the positive which we can take out of it and hope that we see tomorrow against Wolves for what is a huge, huge game. Now, just quickly, because this is significant, and I've left it until 10 minutes in to broach the subject of Alexander Isak. There weren't loads of questions about him inside there this morning, but I did think it was important to ask Eddie and to give him the opportunity to address things which have been insinuated and said with regards his relationship with Isak. Of course, the player's incendiary statement on August 19th left the manager potentially under the wheels of a bus. Isak hasn't at all sought to clarify that since. Now, I asked Eddie this morning, I said, what is your relationship like with him? And what was it like? He said, well, all the way through until the point of this summer, he had a great relationship with Alexander Isak, one that was mutually beneficial for Isak's development as a player and for Newcastle and him being part of a very successful team. There was never any suggestion of anything but Eddie did say, and this was really revealing, he said the relationship changed the moment he went on strike, and that's the first time Eddie Howe was committed to that word in public: strike. Alexander Isak did refuse to train. Alexander Isak did refuse to play. Eddie said that from that point on, communication became difficult and it changed. He didn't go into any great detail, but he wanted, clearly, and he took the opportunity to record that things were different after the player refused to train and refused to play for the club. So I thought it was important to record that. What does it mean? Well, we'll see what Alexander Isak says when, as he hinted at this week, he will come out and tell his side of the story. But certainly there is a want and a determination behind those trees there inside the training ground to move on from it and draw a line under the Alexander Isak saga now. And I know you guys share that sentiment too. And the best way to do that is by playing football matches, scoring goals and winning games. And that's what they've got the chance to do tomorrow. And as for a prediction, what will happen? Well, Woltemade will start. First of all, team news. The big call is Elanga or Jacob Murphy on the right. I think he might just put Elanga back in tomorrow. And if he does, that then is a chance to him. He's had the little warning. He's had the warning down at Leeds. Your place in this team, a £55 million summer signing, isn't guaranteed. They've got Jacob Murphy there. I thought Murphy did well enough at Leeds, but he might just put Elanga back in for what is feeling like that big occasion tomorrow. Harvey Barnes on the left, the midfield three, they'll be together, and probably the same back four as well. I was out in Belgrade during the week, as you know. Tino Livramento was fantastic. Keep Tino Livramento at left back, Trippier at right back. It's a shame Anthony Gordon isn't available. The second match of his suspension, given how well he did out in Serbia too. But because of all of that, I don't think Newcastle are going to go and blow Wolves away. I think it could be tight, it could be cagey, but I'm going to go for a 2-0 victory to the home side. And I think Big Nick is going to be on target. So there you go, guys. Tell me below the line what you think. Tell me what you think about the injuries, about Jacob Ramsey. The warnings there of his fitness issues have come to pass far sooner than anyone would have liked or hoped. Yoane Whissa, again, stay across all my channels. Hopefully I'll have an update on what specialists do say as soon as possible. He won't feature tomorrow, but those left behind are very good. And Newcastle should, and I think will, have enough to go and beat Wolves tomorrow. Okay, guys, I said there's going to be a quick dispatch, and before my friend on the lawnmower gets any closer, and have a look at this. A wonderful, glorious Tyneside day. And even the wind machine has only turned to medium. Really, I hope it hasn't affected the sound quality. Hit like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you from the steps of St James's tomorrow. Okay, take care, guys. Bye-bye.